Well, here we are again. Blues this time. I should really, this is not fair because this isn't really just blues because we start with some of my favorites, which are turquoises, which I probably will end up doing just an solely turquoise, phthalo turquoise, ultramarine turquoise. But I'm working with what's in my palette here. And this is a palette that I've been playing with lately, obviously, as you can tell by the crudiness of that palette. But I wanted to just kind of in the history of, I've been doing some other videos where I've been swatching out, started off with, it all started with these schminkies over here. Schminky. And then I just started swatching and it's kind of turned into a thing, a color study, and I've been enjoying the heck out of it. So I just kept going with it. But in doing this color study, I thought, well, I've got the greens covered here, and then I just did the pinks. And now let's just do the blues that are on this palette. And I'm not, I could pull other colors, like I said, but I just want to work with the blues I've been working with and just kind of see a bit of a color study. So Sleeping Beauty, which is technically a genuine, Cobalt Teal, Manganese Blue Hue, which I just realized I was swatching these colors this morning trying to figure out which one is which, because when they get these super dark colors when they dry down, it's not always easy to tell, candidly. And I just realized that my manganese blue is a hue. And again, being a self-taught artist, I didn't understand when I bought this that a hue is going to be so much paler. So I was sitting here kind of swatching out just on some scrap watercolor paper. That's the Windsor blue, which is the, the defect. I always have to have one defection in my palette or in my swatching color studies because I've had Holbein and I've had Mission and now I've got Winsor Newton. But anyway, this Windsor blue, I've always heard about this blue. Well, there goes my light. I've always heard about this blue and I've heard people, okay, we're having a light issue. Oh, that's better. And I finally got some, and man, is that a beautiful blue. Anyway, so this is the manganese blue, and I kept trying to get it darker. I kept, and it doesn't get darker because it's a hue. I'm learning. Okay, stop talking. More painting. Got it. Starting with Sleeping Beauty. So, Windsor blue, Lunar blue, I didn't finish, and then Mayan blue genuine at the end. Have no idea if it's in the right range, but we don't care about this stuff. All right, starting with Sleeping Beauty. And I first got introduced to this color about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago. Danielle Donaldson, I was taking a class with her, and she talked about how much she loved that color. And I bought it instantly, and of course fell in love with it. Who wouldn't? I forgot to activate my paints. They've probably had too much time to dry. I think that's Lunar blue there. Oh, Lordy. I'm going to forget now which one is which. That's the danger for me of putting these palettes out, is then I forget what color I put where, and that was why I did this. But now this, I've forgotten. All right, well, just going for it. The labels can always change if I discover later I swatched in the wrong spot. The Sleeping Beauty, though, I remember at first being disappointed by it. I guess I had a different expectation of what it would do. And it's one of those pigments that at first I got it and I was using it and I was like, I'm just not crazy about this. But then as time has gone on, I lean a lot more heavier on it because it is such a well, first of all, it's granulating, and in early days I was not a big fan of granulating, which I've changed my mind on since. So, but it's a neat mid turquoise. It's not too green. It's not too blue. It's not uber pigmented. Some of those turquoise, like phthalo turquoise, my word. It's like somebody turned a light on inside of that pigment when you play with it. This is a nice, it starts at a mid-tone. I know I just made that super dark, but it kind of lives its life in the mid-tone world. And of course you can really wash it out. That doesn't feel dark enough to me. My unscientific method of color swatching, color study, but it makes me happy. Okay, that's a pretty mid-tone for sure. I think that's where it lives in its happy place, is somewhere in here. Truly, that pigment. I think some pigments shine, for lack of a better word, when they're, you know, super saturated. Quinn Rose to me shines better when she's or is it Quinn Coral? They just, man, that's a happy place for them. When you start, I think their beauty is shown best, you know, when they're at their highest saturation, where some other colors might shine better when they're in the mid-tone range, and I think Sleeping Beauty is one of those. Also, I think it's hard to get turquoise like this. We're going to do Cobalt Teal next, so you can see. I am going to have to do a turquoise study. That's just going to be the end of it. But like I said, I'm just working with what's on my palette this go round. I'm not getting out any new pigments. Working with what I got. That's my mantra for 2025, by the way. Even though it's not here yet. Use what I've got. I've tried making that my mantra in the past, and I've been marginally, that's even being a stretch, I've been marginally successful. Barely. Not even reasonably. This struggle for I want all the things is real for me. I want all the colors in the crayon box. I want all the pigments in the watercolor section. I want all the papers in the paper aisle. I want all the things. I want all the fabric in the fat quarter shop. It's a real struggle for me. Okay, that is Sleeping Beauty. And now we move on to Cobalt Teal, which is this one. I had to think for a second because it's not a good way to label these. And, you know, at some point you just gotta... And this one I noticed the binder, when I was pushing out the pigment a couple days ago into this palette, the binder was separated from the pigment, and I tried to reconstitute it or blend it, mix it. And again, marginally successful, but we're gonna see how it did, how we do. So I spent a little more time mixing it there before and still I don't feel like I got a good pigment load here. Let's try again. Alright, let's see, that's better. When you can see the paper through it, you just immediately go, nope, not enough pigment for this cell. It's not a square. What is that, a rhombus? Oh, geometry days. No, it's not a rhombus either, is it? Polygon? Oh, man. Geometry is my least favorite. I did so much better at algebra than I ever could conceive about doing it, which is weird because geometry is visual, and I'm a visual person. But, okay, so that's Cobalt Teal. I guess that's what we're going with. Doesn't feel very saturated, but here we go. Teal. Isn't cobalt like poisonous? Discontinued. Hazardous material. Toxic waste. I don't know. Alright. Those feel like the exact same saturation. Yep. Well, we've been here before. I have my windows open today, which is December the 20th in Florida. It's going to be, I think, a very lovely day. So I opened my windows and turned my air conditioning off, which I love to do anytime I can. I love the outdoors, as long as it's not too hot. I can take the cold. The heat, no. Which is strange because I live in a place that's extremely hot. Central Florida is not known for its temperate climate. We have 2 seasons here, summer and summer junior. But, you know, you deal with the cards you're dealt. Okay, that feels a little too watery. I was doing better with my water control on the other ones. Wow, Sleeping Beauty is really granulating there, isn't it? I like it though. Like I said, I think she really shines right through here. And of course, there's value. I mean, there's that has usefulness also, but I'm gonna try to make this a tad darker. This just seems too light. Okay, no, I think you made it too dark. Well, happy mediums are where we achieve what we achieve or strive for. Sorry, hope to achieve. That's what I meant to say. All right, Miss Cobalt. And believe it or not, it's 91% humidity outside right now because we had rain come through last night with this cold front. Yep, cold. Because it might be 60 degrees right now. But it feels so good. Such a nice change. Okay, Cobalt Teal, done. Now, Manganese Blue. This is, confess, I have used Manganese Blue in acrylic. And I love it. It's one of my favorite acrylic colors when I'm jelly printing and I'm needing blues. Man, I reach for Manganese Blue all the time, which makes me wonder. I'm just going to back up for a second because it is right here. Am I using the teal or the hue? Or am I using... Yep, I am. I was just curious. I went and grabbed my Manganese Blue, and it is also, sorry, wrong direction. It is also a blue hue. It's also a hue. Ha! Well, okay. Now I know. But I love jelly printing with that color. When I'm looking for a really bold, I call it like a sailor blue, a true blue, a coastal blue. Alright, this paper is doing a little bit better job than my little swatchy cheaty strips, which are like really not good paper at all. So this might be why I needed to do this on good paper to get a good feel. Alright, Manganese. It's fun to say and fun to paint. That was my trash can cleaning service that just came around. When you live in Florida, one of the things that happens is your trash cans become very smelly. So when I moved into this house 6 years ago, my sister-in-law suggested this company, and I'm so glad she did, that comes around once a month, and they pressure wash inside and outside your trash cans. And I don't know about y'all, but as a child, that was, as a young adult, as a teenager, high schooler, middle schooler, that was one of my jobs, was to clean out trash cans in Florida. And I hated that job with the passion of a white hot sun. And so when I heard that for a small fee every month, a company would come around and pressure wash it and then spray, I think they use orange essential oil in it afterwards to deodorize, fragrance, give it a fragrance, you know, like after you know, when you go to the car wash and they say, what fragrance do you want? They give your trash cans a fragrance. Can you believe that? Yes, I can, because I have it done every month. And my husband says to me, you know, let's trim our budget. Let's trim some fat. Oh, here, we can get rid of the trash can cleaning service. And I go, nope, no, we cannot. That is a small expenditure that because come July, when you've been barbecuing and you got chicken bones in there and you got raw chicken trimmings in there, and ooh, no. There is a smell that comes from chicken after even a day or two. And we keep our trash inside of our garage. It keeps animals from turning the cans over, even though our cans are super tall. Anyway, we just like doing it that way. And so it's a small thing. It's a small price to pay to have, so that when you open the garage door, either from the car or the driveway or the house, you aren't going, ugh. So they just came and cleaned my cans. I like it. Okay, I think that's too much pigment. My water's very blue, but that's because I was testing colors earlier. I usually work with very clean water, but it's all good. We went out to Disney Springs last night, and of course, you know, it's all decorated for Christmas and music, and got live music all over. It was like a couple, 3, 4 stages where the different groups are performing, and then we went down to the Irish pub called Raglan Rose. And the Irish dancers are in there doing their river dance or whatever. And it was such a nice night. It was like 60 degrees, perfect. And we just walked around for a couple hours, had dinner, and walked dinner off. That was nice too. And it was lovely. Got our steps in. Got us out of the house. I'm the type of artist, I'm the type of person that I can go days, week. I have actually gone a whole month on a half a tank of gas, and I go to fill up, and I've only used a half a tank of gas in the course of a month, because I'm perfectly content to get in my studio and just play. And my studio is right off my kitchen. Well, yeah, in my office. And okay, Windsor blue. Here we go. Are you ready for some BAM, as Emerald would say? Oh my gosh. This just makes me happy though. I mean, and I am not a super pigmented girly, but this is one of those colors where I just go, wow, when you get to the saturated pigment. And wow in a good way. Not in a back up way. I mean, this blue And I've heard artists, I mentioned this earlier, I heard artists talk about this color before, like, oh, what other, you know, I think it's like peanut butter. You know, if you grew up with Peter Pan, you grew up with Jif, you just stick with that, right? I think artists, when they start with a certain brand, whether it be Holbein or Mgram or Schminky or whatever, they stick with it. But I hear people go, I'm an Mgram person, except for Windsor Blue. Or I'm a Holbein person, except for Windsor Blue. And I have to have Windsor Blue in my palette. And I thought, well, that's just silly. I mean, how much can a pigment really wow you? Okay, I get it. I see it now. This makes me think of a Prussian blue, which will be interesting to do a true blue color study and not just a hodgepodge blue, which was what this one is. And put like phthalo blue up next to it, this Windsor blue, and Prussian blue up next to it. What else is Indanthrone? I know I'm saying that wrong, but that's a super dark blue. Of course, indigo is out there, but indigo is a gray blue to me. Payne's gray, that's obviously a gray blue as well. But it'll be interesting to put Windsor blue up next to its peers, its cousins, and see, you know, how they differ when they through the midtones and then this highly saturated pigment. Oh goodness. Oh, see, that's the color right there. That's that mid-tone blue that I love. Don't get me wrong, I love that. Talk about like it's almost like a navy blue. But these two together, they complement each other pretty well too. I could see these like in, you know, a New England coastal vibe or an Americana, 4th of July kind of. Why do I keep doing this at the tip? I never paint like that. What am I, the heck? You know, maybe I should stop filming these in the morning when my coffee's still kicking in and wait and do these mid-morning when I've had a little more caffeine. Okay. Love that. All right, let's go. Keep going. Let's go. Need more pigment though. Oh boy. Now see that? This is just okay to me. This next swatch, meh. It's pretty, but it's no prettier than Manganese blue. It's just all right. That, stunning. This, meh. 5. These are 8 9s. 5. And all we did was add a little water. That's what's so fascinating to me about watercolor and pigments is just, man, it can change so much just with just a little bit of water. All right, let's see what this wash looks like. It's probably going to look a lot like that one, which is probably why I didn't think I'd be wowed by this, because when I first started playing with these swatches, I was doing them in the, you know, this kind of way, which doesn't really give you the, I mean, if you get a lot of the wash, you just don't get wowed by what the wash looks like because you missed the midtones. I said this before in another video, these color studies, is that these midtones is what I had been missing all this time. And not like I've been an artist forever. I've dabbled with this stuff for years, but okay. Which one was Mayan blue? Which one was Lunar? Okay, that one is Lunar. Oh, Lordy. I don't remember. This could be a problem. Mayan blue, where are you? I'm going to have to take a momentary swatching pause because I thought I had this sorted out and now I forgot what was where. So instead of, nope, I'm not even going to do that. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it from the tube. I'm not sure if this is kosher, but this is what we're doing. Maybe I can get it out of the lid. Just pull a little pigment out of the lid. That way you know. Comes straight from the... Okay, there's the Mayan blue. Oh, and I did it. I did it wrong. This is supposed to be Lunar, and I'm doing Mayan. Okay, well, I gotta remember. So I don't forget later. Oh, this is so pretty. Mayan blue genuine is... Okay. Nope, we don't need you. Change my mind. Going this way. Not sure that's as saturated as I could get it. There's one way to fix that. Just dip it into the tip. Alright, but now how am I gonna... Alright, I guess I'm just gonna borrow one of these wells over here. I'm sure it's one of these colors. I just... Because they're so dark, I can't see it and I can't remember. And I had it marked, or I had the tube sitting by it a while ago, but now... Obviously, I moved them. And so now I've forgotten. Alright, so Mayan blue. Let's do you as a midtone. And this is a genuine, which means it granulates. Didn't know that when I first started buying pigments. Like, oh, genuine. It's a funny name. Okay. Oh, it's because it's made out of a mineral. This is just bugging me. Okie doke. Sure. Mayan blue. You would think Mayan would be a brighter blue, like, you know, Caribbean's islands. Mayans are in Central America, but there I go trying to use logic where logic was not used to begin with. Okay, now that's dried down. That's pretty. I take back what I said about that being a 5. It now might be a 6. Yeah, I'm going to do a different study with just turquoises and just blues. But not today. All right, now I'm making myself nervous about which one's Lunar Blue, because I think I've got Lunar Blue on here twice. I'm going to pull a, do it out of the cap again, stunt here. Wow. It's sticky too. sorry. Pulled it too close to me. I'm pretty sure it's this pigment right here. Or is it that one? It might be that one, actually, now that I look at this. All right, we're going for it. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. I'm pretty sure it's that one, though. My memory banks are kicking in. Yep, it's that one. Phew. All right, let's close this guy back up before we have a crisis on our hands. Okay, boom. All right, let's swatch out Mayan and then go have some more coffee, clearly. I just gotta label them. If I'm trying for this purpose, I just need to label them better. Give myself a cheat sheet. Oh, Mayan and Lunar feel very similar, don't they? I wonder if I've got the wrong pigment. Oh well. I say I'm not going to stress about it, or I'm not going to worry about it, and then what do? Promptly worry about it. Promptly. Forget everything I just said. I feel another cup of coffee coming, calling my name. All right, super pale wash here. Then we will call it for this color study. Blues and turquoises. What's on my palette? That could be the name of the series. What's in your palette? Show us what's in your palette right now. And I know I've been trying to limit myself, work with a limited color palette, and yet you see how, you know, you start with one color per, and now I got two in almost all of them. Yeah, I love all the colors. I love a full crayon box. And that's just the way I'm wired. Okay. That's it for what's in my palette this time. Thanks for watching.